Hey, it's Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. Today is the 12th of May and things are cooking right along. I just come out to do my morning chores, and one of the things I'm doing now is I'm moving the chicken tractors. So I wanted to share a little bit of this. I think people are kind of getting into the way that we do things here. It is fun. It's really rewarding, and I think some of you can't do this. And so when I show you the particulars of how we do it, I think it's interesting, and it's fun for me too, because I get to think about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. But in the pasture poultry world, one of the things that I enjoy the most is after we've had a couple of rainy days, let's say, and we haven't moved the chickens, and sometimes we don't because we don't want to just move them up onto wet grass. But I come out this morning and inside their pens was pretty grody. And here's the middle pen there, and you can see the ground right there. So that's 2 days worth of manure and spilled feed and stuff like that. And so you look in at the birds and they're sitting on gross manure, and it just doesn't look good, and it makes you feel like, well, there's chaos going on here. Can't have chaos in our food system. But then the nature of these tractors is on the front of them there's a rope, and that rope I pick the front of the tractor up, and then there's a skid on the back made out of PVC, and I just walk it along, and I walk it along one position, 12 feet. These things are 12 feet by 10 feet wide, and their manure is miraculously behind them, just like that. And I get a good feeling, because then I look in at the birds and I see them on nice green grass. I see them eating green grass, eating dandelions, alfalfa leaves, pecking at the dirt. And it's a nice feeling to see them in that environment. And the other thing is, I've just distributed 2 days worth of chicken manure from 75 birds in a fairly even pattern behind the tractor. And you might think, wow, that's pretty thick. Isn't that going to burn the grass? That's what people think about chicken manure. It will if I let it sit in a barn for a while and let it get really too thick. Then it creates properties that will hurt the grass quick. But when it goes from chicken to ground, the ground's there waiting for it. And so that ground is really enjoying that. As you can see behind the chicken tractors, and we go all the way back to where we began, and look at how thick and green and lush that is. So it really likes it pretty well. So I came out here, I walked out from the house, I got the wheelbarrow and I wheeled out the feed and I fed the chickens. Then I moved their tractors. I didn't have to use any diesel fuel to spread this manure. And I maintained a good looking, aesthetically pleasant production system. Now, here is my brooder right there, and there's 400 in there. So what we're going to be doing here is putting a couple of new tractors out here today or the next day, and those guys are about 3 weeks old. They're feathered out, and it's getting warm now. So when these guys come out of these tractors, we'll be putting brand new fresh birds in, and these guys will be going to the butcher shop, and then they'll be going to a freezer near you, or maybe yours. Which reminds me, we're going to have our pastured poultry class, not this weekend, but the weekend following. I think it's the 21st. And that's a good class. When you leave there, you will be able to dial up the hatchery, and by the time your birds arrive, you'll have your brooder built, and be ready to go with it. This is a good place to get into the livestock farming business. This is where we started, and I think it's good for folks, so we want to pass that on. But I just thought you'd find that interesting. I do. It's Mark from Baker's Green Acres. Anyone can farm.